What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Mike J here with Drop the Mic, where we accept all opinions from all demographics. We don't discriminate. But before we get into this hot topic, if you can like, subscribe, and share the content, that'd be greatly appreciated. Also, if you would like to donate to the channel, please do so by going to the links in the bio. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you guys. But without further ado, we got DJ from DJ's Raw Uncut Truth, the new media president in the house. We
Thank you,
also
my
got
brother.
Coach Joe. Got the old school legend in the house, the OG. How you doing, Coach Joe?
I'm great. Drop the mic. How you doing, Mike? It's good to see.
I'm
Good to see you.
blessed.
Thank you for having me, inviting me on the show today. What's up, DJ? What's up there?
Man, what's good, my brother? Important topic. I'm glad
All
we're
right.
discussing it.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
indeed.
So for sure, for sure. So today we're gonna be talking about the justice system. So I know we all, on the panel right now, we all done had encounters or something that was just unusual or that has happened to us. For me personally, I personally feel like the justice system is corrupted. And I know that's a bold statement for some. People may not like what I'm saying right now, but we got to be real on here. I think it's corrupt from policing. I think it's corrupt from district attorneys level. I think it's corrupt from the judge level to the penitentiary level and further on. The reason why I feel this way is because I've seen so many things happen to people, and even minor things, and people get put into the system for long, lengthy sentences that are like murder sentences. People are being set up for things. People are being, over policed, being hit by police, and police just being put on little bitty administrative leave. I don't understand that. I want to get the perspective from you guys, though. Do you think the justice system is corrupt? If so, why do you think so? I'm gonna start with Coach Joe.
Well, Mike, I appreciate that so much, my brother. This is a heavy topic, and it's a heavy topic for me because I come from a long line of, first of all, a big family. It's 15 in my family, so it's a lot of people for them to pick. A lot of people to look at a small sample size and say, wait a minute, what's it like? And I'm talking about the difference in the way that we look from light as me to as dark as Wesley Snipes. Okay, that's my family. So a lot of my family, if y'all see some of them walk up on me, y'all wouldn't even know that wouldn't even know they was my family if you didn't look closely at them. You wouldn't even know. See, and that's how it was when I was growing up too. A lot of people thought that I wasn't, I didn't come from where I came from, and then before they knew it, they had a tribe on their ass, and they were like, "Oh, wait a minute, we didn't know." Yeah, you didn't know, but now you know. So yeah, so this thing is a near and dear. One of my brothers was murdered, gangland style, at 18 years old due to this justice system or injustice system. I've had many of my brothers spend time in and out incarcerated, in and out of the revolving door. One of my brothers growing up seemed like every winter he went to jail for something. When I was growing up, like every winter, it's like, where's he at? Where's man at? He's in jail. What? So it's very unjust, and mainly it's unjust because of its origin. See, the origin of anything, the foundation of anything, will tell you what a thing is. And too many times people want to look at the surface of a thing and then say that's a thing. Well, no, that's not the thing. That's a part of a thing. This phone right now that I'm talking on and talking through, okay, part of it I can see. A lot of it I can't see because it's behind the phone. It's inside the phone, the components, the hardware, the software. I don't see those things, but those things are the phone. And if you want to talk about the phone, you can't just talk about what you see and what you hold in your hand. That's a short-sighted conversation, and that's what we've allowed this country to do about criminal justice. Have just a conversation about what we see on the surface. Well, did he have cigarettes? Well, was he speeding? Well, what did he have? No, 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 no.
Trying to
That's not how this
justify
thing
it.
began. That's right. That's not how this thing began. This thing began with people in power and people that have money putting together a force of people who don't have power and don't have money, but are part of the same tribe, and saying, your job is to protect my money. Your job is to protect my property. Your job is to protect my life against those that I tell you that I don't like. or that I do wrong to, or that I take from. Your job is to support me throughout all, right or wrong. And so that's what we have here. A system that supports the system of America, which is about money and power, taking away from some and giving to others. That's what the justice system is about. So I'll start with that. Thank you, my brother.
For sure. What you got for DJ?
Man, that was powerful, Coach Joe. I'm gonna take it to the root. The 13th Amendment, which was supposed to free the slaves and end servitude amongst our people, foundational Black Americans, descendants of slaves. But really what it did was create a prison pipeline, taking advantage of hardcore labor, taking advantage of our skills, our talents. Prison is not rehabilitation. It is corruption.
Right.
They're supposed to rehabilitate the image. But what they're doing is creating this whole pendulum of the same process. That's why when they throw a brother in jail, there's more chances he goes right back into the joint.
Correct.
They do this on purpose. This is all about money and greed. And shout out to IVD Press, shout out to J&J Video. It's about money and greed. These people that own prisons, they're living lavish, while other folks are fighting for their lives in the cellar every single day. This is what the U.S. created. You realize in slavery, there weren't prisons. They were like regular jails that you had to pay bond and stuff like that, but there were never prisons. But once they freed the slaves with the Emancipation Proclamation, the powers that be told themselves, hey, we got to put a kibosh to these Negroes, excuse my language.
You fine.
Because we don't want them owning land, we don't want them gaining power, and we don't want them gaining knowledge. And that's what the system has become.
Right.
Well, see, also we got to speak numbers when we talk about this type of thing. All of us have had experiences where we've experienced as Black people in this country. We've experienced white supremacy. We've experienced the police with the government, the heavy hand of the government, whether it's through the police, whether it's through child and family services. We've been greatly impacted, whether it's through special education. Okay, and that kind of nonsense they put us into as well, which is another form of captivity, another form of caging, another way of caging us. So there's a lot of tricks and stuff that they've used, a lot of systems. So we got to talk numbers. There are over 1 million Black men and Black women incarcerated in America. There's over 800,000 of us that are attached to the court systems, the parole systems. See all this stuff that are still a part of this system that Mike was talking about earlier. So this thing is not just how it expresses itself through what we see in our eyes, but it's through numbers as well, because this is about money. And we can count $1 and $2 equals 3. $1 and $2 equals 1 plus 1 equals 2. We can see that. So that's what this is about. Go ahead, Mike.
And I want to piggyback off that, Coach Joe. So with both of y'all's comments. So DJ, you said that, they're using the prison system and, incarcerating a lot of our Black men in there and women. And Coach Joe went further with that, with the statistics and all that kind of stuff. I just want to say this, what really frustrates me is that we are literally putting people in power that are corrupt, it's all a system. And literally from the police in, they get you a little citation, you got a felony, blah, blah, blah. And then the district attorney and all them pushing for you to get this X amount sentence. And then the judge is in there like, yeah, 40 years, boom, hit you with that 40 years. And then now they got you at the prison and you working for nothing. You're over here, and there's these companies, and we need to point out those companies that are getting labor from these prisons for literally nothing. They get paid like maybe $1 a day, maybe, and they're getting nothing. And they're getting cheap labor. They think this is China. They're getting cheap labor just for these prisoners to do some work for them to benefit their companies. So that's why I look at the system like it's corrupt, because I know I'm not always right and everything, but I'm looking at the system because I'm like, hold on a second. You just sent this person to prison for a reason, just to work for your company in prison? That don't make sense. It does not make sense. And that is really, really, really crooked to me. And I really think that we need to start taking a look at these judges, these district attorneys, these police officers, the whole system, senators, House of Representatives, because nobody should be above the law, but we put people above the law, and it's got to stop.
Excellent point, my brother. And J&J Video says institutionalized. Remember the movie Shawshank Repetition? Yeah, I remember that movie fondly.
Facts.
And you see in that film, soon as each person that goes in prison in that movie, they start to change. They go away from what they usually are, their values, their beliefs. It's thrown out the window.
Right.
The system can make a fool of us all. That's what they intend to do. And they'd rather have us in that condition more often than us outside in this world being powerful people. So they could sit back and talk about how they got people in bondage. If you look at Switzerland, they had a special on Switzerland. Switzerland, their prison system is full rehabilitation. Their facilities don't even look like a prison. They said their job was to bring people back into the work field to get back to normalcy. You see the difference? And you look to America, and their job is to make your life a living hell. So what sounds better, the Switzerland or America? Switzerland. And there's great things about our country.
Absolutely.
But there's some things that we got to be real about.
Yeah.
We got to rectify the whole justice system. The fact that a cop can kill an unarmed black man, and we have to have a trial and all this, and usually they're not punished. When you do something wrong, you're punished, no matter if your intentions are good or bad. That's how the game goes. But for some reason, the good old boy system usurps all that.
And I agree with you, DJ. I just, I want to send my prayers and condolences to Marvin Scott out of McKinney, Texas. He's from St. Louis. One good friend of mine, man, lost his life, and law enforcement took his life. Took him in for a bogus reason due to schizophrenic. They end up putting a spit mask on him and everything, and he's dead now.
Oh,
and I got a very big issue with that. I used to walk home. Me and Marvin moved to McKinney, Texas. We moved to McKinney, Texas around sixth grade, I believe. He came from St. Louis. I came from Houston, Texas. And literally, I'm telling you right now, I used to walk home from school with Marvin. Marvin was just so chill, didn't bother nobody, wasn't disrespectful, always came to events and supported people and all. He was never like that. I know his sister and everything. Shout out to them. I cannot believe I lost a friend to law enforcement. So I lost all hope in law enforcement. I lost all hope in law enforcement because that hurt me to my soul right there, because I'm telling you right now, they are overly policing. It does not take all of that. if you see somebody, like for example, Darius Tarver, he was a University of North Texas student. I know Darius. He was murdered by law enforcement. They tasered him, and then he ran to him with a pan, and then they shot him. You mean to tell me that pan was gonna kill all five of y'all? Y'all couldn't get that man down. You have to shoot him? That's their excuse. I was scared for my life. Or, he was a threat. Listen, man, ain't no dang pan about to kill you 5 people. He can't take down 5 people with a pan, man. Come on now. You know what I'm saying? It's just crazy how they do that to us. And we sit here and allow it. We got to stop allowing it because it's gone too far now. It's going too far. George Floyd, knee on his neck. That is some irresponsible policing. And if you don't know how to do your job, I'm gonna tell y'all something right now. I wasn't gonna do this. I told DJ I wasn't gonna do this, but I'm gonna go ahead and say it because I want y'all to at least understand where I'm coming from. I'm a service member. So I represent the United States of America. And because I represent the United States of America, I understand that is bigger than anything. It's bigger than myself. I understand that. They represent the same thing that I represent. So because of that, and because they are public servants, I expect them to do the right thing at all times. We get our backlash, and when we get our backlash, we have to own it. With the Vanessa Gillen situation in Fort Hood, we have to own that. Even though everybody didn't do it, we getting bad publicity and blah, 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 blah. We have to own that. So when law enforcement do the wrong thing, I don't want to hear no Blue Lives Matter and all that bull crap. We have to own it. What you think, Coach Joe?
Wow, my brother. I don't know if you noticed, I'm a former Marine. So me and you both understand, coming from that position, that this is a leadership problem.
Correct.
We know that. See, when that situation went down in my neighborhood with Nipsey 2 years ago, they just had the anniversary of his execution, of his assassination here the 31st of May. I saw them put his body in the wagon. I live very close to where all that stuff was taking place. And I remember telling the police, there's video somewhere floating around of me doing this, screaming at them in front of their face, telling them, why are you over here like you stormtroopers trying to entice us into doing something so you can beat us? Why are you doing this? See, we want the same thing that you want. I told them this to their face. We want the same thing you want. We want for you to come into our neighborhoods the way you came in here today and leave the same way you came in here. See, we want you to go home as well as you want to go home. But you can't go home if you won't stand up for what's right. You won't go home. You won't come here, go home the way you came here if you don't take some responsibility for what you're doing. And I pointed right to the lieutenant who was out there in charge. I said, you are in leadership position. You know better than this. You are responsible for their lives here. They're following your orders, and you should do better. Because the heavy is the head that wears the crown. You got them bars that say that you are part of leadership here. So before you unleash them and cause all kind of craziness here to happen on these streets right here, and people not go home the way they came, think about that for a second. That you have the power to do the right thing here. And I'm holding you to it. And I told every one of them officers there, y'all ain't nothing but pawns in their game, you troops. And I don't hold you responsible completely for what for you being out here, because you a troop, and I recognize that. And that's why I'm out here for your benefit too. For your benefit. Because I know you can't stand up for yourself. I know you can't say anything about how wrong what you're doing. I know you can't.
because of the kickback,
Yes, because shit rolls
pushback. Yeah,
downhill. And I know that because I was in that position at one time too. I understand. So I'm out here fighting for you too. Latino, black officer, Latino officer, white officer. I'm out here for you too. So
we got to
yes.
meet in the middle.
So you know
We
what they
got to.
did? Let me tell you what they did. Let me tell you what they did, Mike. The next day, guess what they did? They removed the men and brought women out there. Changed the whole thing. Wasn't none but mostly women officers out there. They out there mixing amongst us, out there with the gang members from the Rolling 60s and all the other ones, talking, people shooting, having fun, doing cultural stuff. No ain't no violence, no nothing. Music playing, people celebrating Nip's life. Now, I'm not saying I'm responsible for that, but I'm saying that I played a role in it because I know that some of those videos went viral. And I know that it got back to the other people, that there's people out here watching you people. See, they don't want nobody out here watching them that can articulate what they're doing.
Right,
That's why
right.
we each have a responsibility to do something to help each other. And that's how we help each other. Every time I see a policeman in my neighborhood pulling our people over, I stop and pull out my phone. And I stay far away from them so they can't say I'm interfering, and I record their ass. That's what we can do to help each other, hold them accountable. And the rank and file officers, they need us to hold them accountable, so they don't end up like Chauvin, sacrificed by the state. They sacrificing this dude. They know that he shouldn't have did that. They know he shouldn't have did that, but they gonna sacrifice him and them other dudes there for the system. I hold those in charge responsible. That's who's responsible for this mess that we in currently. But we have the power to get us out of it if we stick together and come together. And I pass.
So, before I get, go ahead, DJ. Go ahead. I'll ask the next question.
Man, Coach Joe, man, what a blessing. What a blessing to receive this knowledge. Yeah, a lot of corruption. Like you said, the state sacrifices a person when it knows more than Chauvin. What about the people around? What about the other officers standing there blocking the other people from helping George Floyd out? They're not in trouble. But they use Derek Chauvin as a sacrificial lamb. The sacrificial lamb to get away with murder.
No, DJ, I got to correct you. Those other officers going to be on trial too after Chauvin.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Oh, yeah, they're going to be on trial too. They were arrested too, and they were fired too.
My apologies, but they're pretty much making Derek Chauvin the face.
Facts.
And for him to be on trial with video proof, he's still on trial.
Facts.
So a man that shown video killing another innocent black man, didn't have a weapon, didn't fight nobody, was pleading for his life, now has time to potentially become not guilty. You can't tell me this system is not corrupt. It is. And this is not a Republican talking point. This is not Democrat. This is about right and wrong. And Derek Chauvin was wrong to the core, because the most important part in this world is life. And when someone ends another man or woman's life, that should be taken seriously. So all I ask is, let's be adults for once and do the right thing and hold accountable. If you're a police officer, stop getting emotional because people are filming you. It's called accountability. It's making sure you're doing your job. On my show, oh, sorry. MJ.
No, go ahead.
On my show, I was joking to test to this. We always have a saying, logic over emotion. Well, this applies. Every time a cop does anything with emotion, bad things happen.
Facts.
So Coach Joe, before I ask my question, I wanted to point this back though, because since you said you was former Marine, so you know this. There's like multiple levels of of how soldiers are supposed to engage
Mike,
um,
it's called Mike. It's called rules of engagement. Yes.
rules of engagement. There you go. The rules of engagement. There's certain levels in the military before you even get to even pulling the trigger. And
Facts.
I'm over here tripped out because I'm like, why is that the first engagement of law enforcement, the public servants? Anybody that's in a service, especially if you like Army Marines, somewhere in that range, Navy SEALs, those fighting forces, they know those rules of engagement.
Facts.
So I don't understand how we even get ourselves in that situation in the first place. It don't take all that. And I played college football too, so I can tell you. Have y'all ever seen football players after a play? They all on top of each other like in a pile. You know what they do? The linemen and people start yanking people off. You know why they be yanking people off? Because when you put your weight on people, it really is hard to breathe.
Facts.
It really is hard to breathe. It don't take a kinesiology class for you to understand the body, the human body. When you have your weight on certain areas and all those pressure points, it's like, get off me. I can't breathe. That's what happens.
Facts.
But now I'm gonna leave this question. I'm gonna get to the next question though, because DJ, you brought up Democrats and Republicans, and I wanted to say this real quick. I don't associate myself with a party. The reason why I don't associate myself with a party is because I don't like being labeled. I can't stand being labeled. I don't call myself a Democrat. I don't call myself a Republican. I call myself a human being. So I have an issue when people always turning these situations into these Democratic run cities, these Republicans, you know what? It's all of them because they all playing politics. While people are dying, they ain't put nothing on the table to fix these issues while people are dying.
Facts.
I don't want to hear nothing from the NRA. The NRA trolls us because I'm gonna tell y'all something about the NRA. I'm a gun owner. I have no issues with guns. I'm gonna tell you though something. Why do y'all think every time something like this happens, like with George Floyd or something like that, when that happens, the NRA starts creeping out and making these claims and about certain racism and Antifa and KKK and all that, and get everybody wound up? You know what happens after that? Gun sales go up.
Facts.
Stop playing the game with them. They already know what's gonna happen. That's why they throw that stuff out there. These race things and everything. Everybody just falling for it. Oh, you're a Republican. Oh, you're a Democrat. Oh, you're stupid. You don't know nothing. It's a game. It's a game.
Mike, I want to say, man, I'm so sorry to hear about your friends, man, being murdered by these race officers in this system that you're having to go through this. This is something that we need to, in my view, need to start recognizing. That's trauma. When you have your family members and friends, be murdered, no matter if it's by the police or it's not by the police, if it's by a friend, that's trauma. That is not an easy thing. That's not something you just could sweep under the rug. And that's what we've been doing with this trauma that we've been experiencing here since we've been here. Sweeping it under the rug, acting like it ain't really bothering us. It is bothering us. It's the reason why we haven't fixed this situation yet. It's the reason why we still battling each other over silliness when we all the same.
Right.
Malcolm X said one thing I'll never forget, and I always repeat it. He said one day the black man and the black woman gonna realize all they got is each other. And he said, I'm gonna tell you when what it's gonna look like when we realize that. When a black man in this country gets treated wrong and unjust by the police, other black men gonna feel like they were wronged as well. And we see this with George Floyd. It's happening, family. It's happening. We started when Breonna Taylor was killed in her home. There are a lot of sisters, black women in this country that felt like they were targets in their home now. A lot of black men felt like they were targets in their home now, who had never felt that before. See, it's a new day. We starting to wake up that all we have is ourselves, and us sticking together is important for everybody else because we don't roll the way they do. Family, we know this. See, this injustice system that we live in is an Dr. King said it best. Injustice anywhere is an affront to justice everywhere. There is no place safe where injustice exists. Nobody is safe where injustice exists. Everybody is on the clock. It's just gonna be. It's just wait until your turn comes, because you're gonna get a turn where the injustice sprays on you. And I pass.
Coach Joe. Boy, this is a important discussion, my brother. And Mike, man, we're praying for you. Because, you know, when you, like Coach Joe said, when you have a friend that, you know, you lose a friend over arrogance and ignorance of people in power. It hurts.
I do want to say something though. So I want to make this. I want to make sure everybody understand where I'm coming from on this, because, like I said, that's why I brought DJ on here and Coach Joe on here to get different perspectives, because everyone's perspective is different. You know, I grew up in the early '90s, so you know, my perspective is gonna be a lot different than the old school and everything. That's why I'm so happy to have Coach Joe here. But I want to say this though, because I grew up in the '90s, I'm so blessed because I got different perspectives from the old school and the new school. So now you see the new school, the newer school that's here now. They didn't get that stuff in the early '90s. They got that in the late 2000s. You know, so they don't have understanding of both sides. We grew up with the old computers and the flip phones and the beepers, but we also grew up with the technology. So we got a little bit. So what I'm about to say is this.
That's heavy there, Mike.
Yeah. And what I'm about to say is this. We also, because I've been saying this on social media a lot, we got to check our own people too. We got to stop falling for the pointing finger game. Because one thing that I tell others that have racist family members, you got to check your people. And it's not just white people. There's racist black people, Hispanic, Asian. I understand that. But we have to check our people when they are wrong. Because if we don't check our people, we are just recycling the same system of pointing fingers and not getting down to the bottom of anything. I really like when you see a Caucasian person come out and say, hey, Black lives do matter. Don't push against them, because that is the right thing to do. They are supposed to do that.
Facts.
If they not doing that, that's when you're supposed to be mad. And I get on to some friends on space. I've had to delete people because I did not agree with them. Because I'm gonna tell you something. My wife is Caucasian. My whole family is diverse. I have Hispanic, Indian, African, white, black, all in my family. And all we do is have each other's backs like this. So I don't got time to be sitting here playing with folks talking about, oh, you with this person, or oh, these people here. No, you know what? We need to fix our minds. Yeah, you know, I agree with everything everyone's saying, but we also need to fix our minds and stop sitting here falling for the trap. When you see a new world and new things happening, yes, it becomes uncomfortable. You got people that are gay, that are transgender, but you know what? What does that have to do with any of us? Nothing. So that's why I stay out of people's business. I was taught at a young age to mind my business so it don't draw attention to me. So I don't get all involved in all these little bitty chit chat things that have nothing to do with me and my family. So, that's one big thing for me. I really am passionate about folks growing together, and I'm not gonna sit here and act like my wife ain't Caucasian, because she is, and I love the hell out of her. And and and
As you should.
yeah, and I'm not gonna let anybody, and nobody on here did anything, by the way. I just want to make sure that's clear. I'm probably like, oh, he tripped. No, I ain't gonna let anybody come between my heart and my thoughts on that matter, because I'm very passionate about people coming together. I'm big on diversity. The last administration, they didn't have diversity, and I was very uncomfortable. I ain't gonna lie to you. I was very uncomfortable with the things being said. I don't like anything that doesn't have diversity. I want to see a multitude of every race up in at these corporations and everything like that. You should never just have a whole corporation just full of Caucasians, because I find it very hard to believe that we do not have any qualified ethnicities out other than Caucasian.
Well, hey, Mike, I'm gonna tell you, my brother, you just hit off on a lot of things, my brother. Wow, you just hitting bang, 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 bang. I mean, I want to address one thing that you said, because you said a lot. In any system, the system can only be as good as its weakest link. A system can only be judged by how it deals with the least of them. We can't judge people by the exception to the rule. We have to look at a system and look at it by the measure of the rule. How is the rule affecting the whole? How are the policies affecting the whole?
Right.
See, how is this idea affecting the whole? What in the scenario that you just set up, my brother, the system that we live in is set up to separate and divide us on purpose and for a reason. Because when people are divided, they can't stand together. It's easy to manipulate and control entities that are separate, that are fighting each other. It's easy to come in and get involved and manipulate the story if there's division and not unity. Okay, I have married Caucasian women as well, and Black women as well. In my experience and my life, and what I have never tried to do is say that how I feel and where I'm coming from should be the rule, when it is really the exception. It's not the rule, it's the exception. See, most people in this country live amongst their own kind. Most white people in this country live around white people. Most Black people in this country live around Black people. Most Latinos in this country live around Latinos. Most Asians live around Asians. I'm in Los Angeles. The highest concentration of Korean is in Koreatown. Now, does that mean there are no Koreans living outside of Koreatown? No, but most Koreans are living in Koreatown. Most in California, most Chinese are living up north in Chinatown. Does that mean they all are? No, it means that most of them are. So the ones that are living outside are the exception to the rule. They're not the rule. So what we have to understand is if we want the non-rule to be the rule, then what we have to do is we have to work toward that. And how do we work toward that? By bringing up the marginal, by helping those that are the least among us, because that says who we are. That says what we're about. And the fact that the justice system looks disproportionately of people of color says that we don't care in this country about the least of thee. And who doesn't care? The majority don't care about the least of thee. See, that's what this is about. It's not about you individual and your choice and my individual choice. That's not what this is about. This is about what all the collective choices say about us as a people. See, the Republican Party that just came out, to me, the Donald Trump is not the issue. The issue is that the party before Donald Trump is 94, 95% one race, one group of people, one tribe. That's the problem. Because you're only going to get one point of view when you only have the same people there.
Correct.
Nothing can change. Nothing can change if you don't introduce change to the system. If the system just stays the way it is, then it won't change. It has to change by how we look at and how we deal with the least of thee. And in this culture, we as Black people, we are the least of thee, they have said. And so we have to come together so we can show them that the least of thee will no longer be marginalized. And that will help y'all as well. Because you guys have ignored what is sitting amongst you, which is a system that makes no sense, as you just finished saying. The rules of engagement make no sense at all. Whether you're in the 2000s or 70s, 80s, the rules of engagement make no sense. And the reason they don't is because of these same group of people, these same tribesmen are together making these choices and these decisions. And that's the need to stop. And I'll pass.
For sure. DJ, before I close out, man, let you get that word real quick.
Yes, an excellent show. Coach Joe was on top of his game, as always. The OG. Mike, you said some important stuff on here. And I'm so proud to have done a show like this because it needs to be talked about. I know this is an uncomfortable conversation, but damn it, life's uncomfortable. So we might as well deal with it now than to be scared and timid and be PC about it. We got to address these things so that our future, our kids, and future kids can have a better life than what we have. That's why we do what we do. When I do a show, I don't think about the consequences, the pushback. Nobody will shut me up. Our people have been shut up for 400 years. It's a new time now. We have a voice. We have more power than we think we do. And when we realize that, we'll realize the power our community has even more than what it is now. So I wanted to say, my brother.
Appreciate you, DJ. I'm gonna close this out with this. I just got back from South Korea, so a lot of people were like, "Man, why haven't you done the show yet? You said you're gonna do it soon." I was in South Korea for 30 days, and I'm gonna tell you, I learned. I'm really big on cultural awareness, and we lack that in the United States. I love my country. But I know what our deficiencies are. We lack cultural awareness, and in some sense, it seems like we don't even have a culture really here because we're so divided. But when I went to Korea, as you know, they are our allies. A lot of them they heard about that Asian hate stuff and they asked me about it, legit asked me. And I told them straight up, I said, you know what, man, I wish I had the answers for you for why our country can be seen as racist from outsiders. And we have to fix that. We can't keep turning our heads. We have to fix that. If we don't fix that, we're gonna this country's gonna go down, lower and lower and lower, and we're gonna lose allies. And these are people we fight with when wars come up and all that, or whatever comes up. We work with them. So, we gotta stop being so hateful. If you got parents brothers, sisters, because I can't even blame somebody for being ignorant because they got it from their parents, and your parents got it from their parents, and then their parents before then. So I can't even get mad. I'm so used to that. I'm so numb to it. I'm so numb to it. It don't even bother me no more. But I tell you one thing though. If you don't fix it, you know, it's gonna be a major problem down the line. And you don't want your kids growing up like that. And you know, I raise my kids to love everybody. I don't care if you got special needs. I don't care if you white, black, Latino, Asian. It doesn't matter. You need to learn cultural awareness and respect people's cultures. You don't have to agree. We can agree to disagree on everything, but respect is where it comes from. I just want to say thank you to all the subscribers. If you can like, subscribe, and share the content, that'd be greatly appreciated. I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for showing up. Thank you, Coach Joe. Thank you, DJ. It's all love. Have a good day.
Peace.
Peace and blessings.